Most people believe saving money is the secret to getting rich. They clutch every dollar like it's their last breath, terrified that spending it means losing it forever. But that belief was planted in you by the very system that profits from your fear. The truth is much darker. Money only multiplies when it moves. The rich don't hoard money, they deploy it. Every dollar they spend is a soldier sent to conquer more. Meanwhile, the poor keep the money locked away, mistaking stillness for safety. But that's not security, it's slow financial death. From childhood, you were trained to fear loss. Save your money, don't take risks, play it safe. They called it wisdom, but it was obedience disguised as advice. That's the mindset of the servant. The master doesn't fear loss, he weaponizes it. He understands that real power demands sacrifice. Every empire, every dynasty, every fortune was built by someone who spent when everyone else was saving. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power belongs to those who dare to risk their resources with precision. Think about it. Why do billionaires invest millions into ventures, influence networks, and strategic relationships when they could retire in peace? Because they know what most people never realize: stagnation is decay. If your money isn't working, you're not growing, you're dying. You think holding money keeps you safe, but safety is an illusion. Inflation eats your savings, fear paralyzes your progress, and while you wait for the right time, someone else is using their money to buy what you're afraid to chase: freedom. Here's the secret the rich will never teach you. Money hates stillness. It decays in silence and thrives in motion. The wealthy aren't reckless spenders, they're strategic investors. Every move is a calculation, every expense a weapon. The poor see spending as loss, the rich see it as leverage. Watch closely. The average person celebrates saving a few dollars, while the rich spend thousands to enter rooms where opportunities are born. The difference isn't wealth, it's psychology. The poor protect their money, the rich protect their position. Because once you lose your position, your money won't save you. You'll always be one mistake away from starting over. So test yourself. If you had $1,000 right now, would you buy comfort, new clothes, a better phone, or would you invest it into a skill that could multiply your value tenfold? Most people choose comfort. That's why they stay trapped. They trade power for pleasure, validation for growth. Your financial future isn't decided by what you earn. It's decided by what you do with what you earn. The rich understand one rule: money is a tool, not a trophy. The moment you start protecting it instead of using it, you've already lost. Because the game of wealth doesn't reward caution, it rewards calculated aggression. The world doesn't reward saving, it rewards calculated risk. You don't build empires by stacking cash in a savings account. You build them through decisions that make your heart race. But here's where most people fail. They confuse spending with investing. They think all movement of money is the same. It's not. When you spend to escape discomfort, that's weakness. When you spend to increase capability, that's power. The poor spend to look rich. The rich spend to become richer. Every dollar they move is filtered through one question: will this make me stronger in the long run? That's the cold difference. The rich aren't just smarter with money, they're colder. They treat every dollar as a weapon, to eliminate weakness, to buy information, to buy time, to buy control. Meanwhile, the average person spends to numb their pain, to feel good, to pretend they're winning. It's not about how much money you have, it's about the psychology behind its movement. And if you think this is about greed, you've missed the point entirely. This is about survival in a system that rewards motion and punishes hesitation. Look around you. Opportunities don't wait, they move fast, and they reward the bold. The moment you stop moving, you start dying. Machiavelli called it the death of fortune. the moment luck abandons the hesitant. Now ask yourself something real. How much money have you lost by playing it safe? How many chances slipped through your fingers because you were afraid to spend? A course you didn't take, a business you didn't start, a connection you never built. You told yourself, I can't afford it, but the truth? You couldn't afford not to. Because every time you delay growth, someone else is buying your future with their courage. The powerful understand what the average person doesn't. Every decision with money either strengthens your control or weakens it. Every purchase is a vote for the life you want. If you're buying distractions, you're voting for mediocrity. If you're buying knowledge, leverage, and position, you're voting for dominance. The rich don't ask, can I afford this? They ask, what will it cost me if I don't? That's the forbidden rule. The poor think in price. The rich think in cost. Price is what you pay now. Cost is what you lose forever if you don't act. A poor man says, that's too expensive. A rich man says, what will it cost me if I stay the same? That single mindset separates those who rise from those who rot. You might call this ruthless, and you'd be right, because the game of wealth is ruthless. The world rewards those who move with precision, leverage, and timing, and punishes those who wait. They told you patience is a virtue. That's true, but only for the powerless. For the powerful, patience is a weapon. They use it strategically, not passively. They wait only when it multiplies their odds, never when it protects their fear. Here's the brutal truth. If you're not using your money to buy power, someone else is using it to buy you. Every dollar you hoard is working for someone else. While your money sleeps, theirs is awake, compounding, building influence, creating opportunity. You're saving your money in a bank. That bank is using your money to make themselves richer. You're saving for safety, while inflation silently robs you every day. The game isn't fair, but it is learnable. And once you learn it, everything changes. You stop fearing movement. You stop feeling guilty for investing in yourself. You stop asking for permission to grow. Because every great empire began with a decision that looked reckless to the weak, but calculated to the powerful.
The difference between a gambler and a strategist is control. The gambler throws money into chaos, praying for luck. The strategist directs it with purpose and turns risk into advantage. That's the first law of real wealth. Spending isn't the enemy. Ignorance is. The poor lose money because they spend without intention. The rich multiply it because every move has a purpose. It's not about how much you have. It's about how you use it. Money in motion builds momentum. Momentum creates opportunity. And opportunity, when seized, creates power. So stop worshiping money. Start commanding it. Because if you don't control your money, someone else will control you with theirs. Now that you understand the truth about money in motion, let's go deeper into the principles that separate those who rise from those who remain trapped. These aren't theories. They're the tactical rules of people who build power quietly, strategically, and without mercy. And once you understand them, you'll begin to see the world through the eyes of the rich. Core Principle 2. Spend to build capability. The poor buy comfort. The rich buy capability. It's that simple. You can't grow if your money isn't making you more dangerous in the marketplace. Every dollar you spend should increase your ability to earn more later. That's how empires are built, not by saving, but by transforming spending into skill and advantage. Think about it. A man who saves $1,000 might feel wise for a moment, but that money just sits, slowly dying. Another man uses that same $1,000 to learn sales, copywriting, or investing, skills that make him valuable for life. A year later, he's making $10,000 a month because he used money to expand his power. The difference? One played safe. The other played smart. The system doesn't reward effort. It rewards usefulness. If your skills don't multiply your output, you stay stuck no matter how hard you work. That's why the rich treat education as a weapon. They spend thousands to learn from those already winning. They pay for access to rooms that filter out the noise. Because one good idea, one conversation, one connection can alter the entire course of a life. Most people hesitate. They tell themselves, I can learn it for free. And maybe they can. But time is the most expensive currency. Free information costs you years. Paid information costs you money and gives you speed. The rich buy speed. The poor buy time. One builds leverage, the other wastes it. I once knew a man who refused to spend $200 on a freelancing course because he thought it was too expensive. He spent 2 years trying to figure it out himself, broke, confused, and stuck. Another man bought the course, applied it, and within months was earning $5,000 a month. The lesson is brutal. Being cheap with money makes you expensive in time. Every time you refuse to invest, you extend your struggle. And Machiavelli would tell you, fortune favors the man who moves fast. Not recklessly, but decisively. Because opportunity decays like fruit left untouched. Once it rots, its potential is gone forever. The bold act while others wait. They use money to open doors that fear keeps shut. So ask yourself this: when you spend money, are you buying comfort or capability? Because one leads to power, the other leads to weakness. The person who spends to grow becomes unstoppable. The one who spends to escape stays stuck forever. Core Principle 3. Spend to buy position. Now that you understand capability, let's talk about something even more powerful: position. The rich don't just buy things, they buy placement. They understand that in life, who you stand next to matters more than how hard you work. Money can buy access. Access buys influence. And influence buys everything else. You could be the most skilled person in the world, but if no one sees you, you'll remain invisible. The rich understand that visibility creates opportunity. That's why they don't spend to impress, they spend to position. They don't chase random connections. They buy their way into rooms where power already circulates. Rooms where decisions are made, not discussed. Here's an example. A man once paid $10,000 to attend a private event hosted by an investment group. To most people, that sounded insane. But at that event, he met a business partner who helped him make $500,000 within a year. Was that $10,000 an expense or an investment? The poor would call it wasteful. The rich call it leverage. That's how power works. You buy access to higher levels of the game. You position yourself near opportunity instead of waiting for it to find you. The poor wait for luck. The rich manufacture it. They spend to enter circles that multiply their influence. They understand that relationships built through money often outlast the money itself. Look at history. Kings didn't just build armies, they bought alliances. They used wealth to strengthen their position before the war even began. Before swords clashed, deals were made. Before battles started, influence was bought. That same game is still being played today, only now it's done through investments, partnerships, and social capital. Ask yourself, where does your money go? Toward things that raise your status or things that make you feel good for a few hours? The poor spend on consumption. The rich spend on positioning. The rich will spend $2,000 on travel if it puts them in a room with millionaires, but won't waste $200 on sneakers just to look rich. Because they know that looking rich doesn't make you rich. Being seen by the right people does. But here's the dark truth. You'll never gain access if you're afraid to pay for it. The system is built to filter out the broke-minded from the opportunity-minded. That's why most people never get inside. They can't handle the price. They think in scarcity, not strategy. They see doors as walls, when every door opens with the right payment, not always in money, but in value, sacrifice, or boldness. Let's say you want to build a business. You could try doing it alone, slowly, painfully. Or you could pay for mentorship, join a high-level community, and learn directly from those already winning. One path costs money, the other costs years. Either way, you pay. The question is, which price costs you more? So stop asking how to save money. Start asking how to use money to buy position. Because when you're in the right place, opportunities chase you, instead of the other way around. The higher your position, the less effort you need. That's leverage. The art of making systems, people, and capital work for you. And once you taste that kind of power, you'll never go back. You'll realize the goal was never just to make money. The goal was to make money work for you. That's the mindset shift that separates the rich from the poor forever. Machiavelli would call it the art of controlled risk. Spending strategically to strengthen your position before you make your next move. You don't enter the arena blind. You enter prepared. Machiavelli would say, power isn't taken. It's constructed through money, control, and precision. You pay for information, for alliances, for weapons, and then you strike. That's how real power is built. Quietly, deliberately, with money as your sword.
So remember these two laws: spend to build capability and spend to buy position. Everything else, luxury, impulse, comfort, is noise, weakness disguised as pleasure. When you begin to think this way, the illusion of unfairness fades. You stop envying the rich and start understanding them. They're not lucky, they're strategic. They buy their way into opportunities before others even know they exist. You'll start to see patterns: who's investing in growth and who's wasting in consumption. Who's preparing to win and who's pretending. Wealth is not created by saving or wishing. It's created through deployment. The rich move their money with intent. The poor move it with emotion. That's the defining difference. Understand this: money doesn't vanish when you spend it. It transforms. The question is, into what? Power or weakness? Growth or distraction?
freedom, or dependence. Every transaction reveals what kind of player you truly are. Core Principle 4. Spend to gain leverage. Leverage is the silent engine behind every empire. It's what allows one man to command the work of 1,000 without lifting a finger. And leverage costs money. The poor avoid that cost. The rich embrace it. Leverage means using money to multiply your results. It's how the rich escape the prison of trading time for income. They build systems, hire talent, and buy tools that work even when they sleep. The poor pride themselves on doing everything alone to save money, but that mindset keeps them small. The rich ask, how can I spend money so others work while I rest? If your time is worth $50 an hour and you waste it on $10 tasks, you're not saving, you're losing $40 every hour. The rich understand this instinctively. They spend to buy focus, speed, and scale. Take Elias, a man who built a small online business. He did everything himself: marketing, emails, design, customer service. He was exhausted and broke. Then he hired a virtual assistant for $300 a month. And within weeks, his income doubled. He bought back his time, and that purchase created momentum. That's leverage in action. The poor call it wasteful. The rich call it tactical. Machiavelli would say, a wise ruler never swings his own sword when he can pay a soldier to do it. That's leverage, control without effort. You don't fight every battle, you command the army. Likewise, don't be the worker, be the commander who directs money and people to multiply your impact. Stop hoarding money out of fear. Use it to buy systems, tools, teams, and influence. Every idle dollar is a missed opportunity to expand your reach. The real question isn't, can I afford to delegate? It's, how much longer can I afford not to? Core Principle 5. Spend to buy time. Time is the only currency more valuable than money. The poor spend their lives trading it away. The rich buy it back. Every hesitation, every delay, every "I'll do it later" has a price. The poor treat time as infinite. They waste hours to save pennies. The rich treat time as sacred. They spend to move faster, to skip lines, to gain speed. Here's the truth. The faster you move, the more opportunities you see. The world hides its rewards from the slow. The rich get richer, not just because they have capital, but because they have momentum. They act faster, learn faster, recover faster. Money lost can be made again. Time lost is gone forever. That's why the rich spend aggressively to reclaim their hours, hiring assistants, automating processes, outsourcing distractions. Every smart purchase is a piece of life bought back.
Because in the end, the rich don't worship money. They use it as a tool for time, power, and freedom. And that's the ultimate Machiavellian move. When asked why his rate was so high, he said, "Because I can save you 5 years." That's how the rich think. They don't pay for information. They pay for acceleration. They pay to collapse time, to skip the years of trial and error that keep others stuck. And that's why they win. While others crawl, they sprint. While the masses waste time trying to figure things out for free, the elite buy speed, buy clarity, buy shortcuts to power. Ask yourself, how much time do you waste on things that don't grow you? How many hours vanish doing tasks that could be delegated or automated for a fraction of your value? Every wasted hour is a piece of your potential gone forever. Every strategic purchase that saves you time is a step toward freedom. And here's the Machiavellian truth. Control over time is control over power. The man who owns his time controls his destiny. The man who doesn't serves someone who does. Core Principle 6. Spend to create substitution. This is where the game turns colder and far more powerful. Substitution is the art of using money to replace what others depend on. The rich master it to make themselves irreplaceable and everyone else replaceable. It's silent dominance. When you can substitute yourself, your business, or your influence in any environment, you own the field. The poor depend on one income, one job, one client, one platform. The rich use money to build multiple paths, so when one fails, another rises. That's substitution, replacing weakness with options. For example, a content creator who relies solely on one platform is exposed, but a smart creator invests in building an email list, paid ads, and a distribution network across multiple platforms. If one collapses, his empire remains untouched. That's not luck, that's architecture. It applies to business, relationships, and life. Control comes from options, and options cost money. A business owner who relies on one supplier is fragile, but one who spends to build 3 backups is unbreakable. If one supplier falls, he substitutes instantly. No panic, no pause, just pivot. That's what power looks like under pressure. Calmness born from preparation. Because powerful people don't react to chaos. They already paid for their escape routes.
Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. A ruler who depends on others is never safe. A ruler who can replace anyone at any time is unstoppable. In modern terms, that means using money to build independence. You can't be controlled if you've already paid for your alternatives. Spend to create substitution in every area of life: your income, your influence, your skill set. The poor depend on a single paycheck. The rich build multiple income streams. The poor depend on one boss. The rich build networks that keep them employed even when economies fall. Substitution is power through replacement, and while it costs money up front, it buys peace forever. Once you can replace your dependencies, you're free. Every dollar you spend should buy one of 3 things: leverage, time, or substitution. Together, these form the trinity of total control. They make you unshakable. They make you dangerous. They make you sovereign. The poor believe spending is losing. The rich know spending is transforming, turning money into power, power into time, and time into dominance. Here's the dark truth. Money exists to be used, not stored. Stored money feeds banks and governments. Used money feeds your empire. The system teaches you to hoard while it uses your savings to expand itself. The rich flip the game. They use their money to escape the system entirely. So remember this. Every time you spend, you're not just making a transaction, you're making a move on the chessboard. Every move either brings you closer to checkmate or closer to defeat. Most people don't even realize they're playing, but once you do, you'll never look at spending the same way again. The goal isn't to be careful, it's to be calculated. The goal isn't to save, it's to spend strategically. The goal isn't to have money, it's to control what money gives you. Play this game correctly, and you'll reach a point where your money no longer buys things, it buys power, and that power multiplies itself.